Imagine watching a music video that's absolutely perfect. The visuals are sharp, the choreography is precise, every second feels impeccably orchestrated. But somehow, there's something that secretly draws you in more than anything else. It's not just the song, it's not just the concept. There's a hidden magnet that makes you want to watch it again and again. That's the sensation many people felt when they first saw the Hooligan music video. On the surface, it all seems like the world-class production we've come to expect. Dramatic lighting, symbol-filled sets, and a dark yet alluring atmosphere. But the longer you watch, the more it becomes clear that there's a certain dynamic that can't be ignored. Something unwritten, yet felt. Amidst all the structured visual chaos, two figures stand out in a distinct way. Not because they're trying to steal the show, but because their presence feels so natural. It's as if the camera chose them without being forced to. Their energies contrast, yet strangely complement each other. On one hand, there's a bold, wild, and almost uncontrollable aura. On the other, there's a flowing, elegant, and controlled softness. These two poles collide, but instead of destroying each other, they create a harmony that's hard to explain. As the scenes rapidly shift, there are small moments that might be missed if you're not paying close attention. A fleeting glance, a seemingly unplanned, synchronized movement. Even the way they stand in the same frame feels like part of a hidden narrative. Many are starting to wonder, was this intentional? Or just a coincidence too perfect to be true? Because if you look closer, this pattern keeps appearing in various parts of the video. The symbolism in this music video is also hard to ignore. One of the most striking is the use of elements like a lock and key. Visually, this might seem like part of the concept of being locked or trapped. But when connected to the interaction between these two figures, the meaning could be much deeper. Locks and keys are often associated with connection, something that can only be complete when paired with the right partner. And interestingly, this symbol appears at moments where their dynamic is most intense. Not only that, but the play of light and shadow also seems to emphasize the duality they portray. One often appears in harsher, more contrasting lighting, while the other is often shrouded in a soft, almost misty glow. This contrast isn't just aesthetic. It's a visual way to depict two distinct characters, yet they exist within the same story. Two sides of a single, inseparable world. In some scenes, the distance between them feels incredibly close, even though they may not always be physically side by side. It's a kind of closeness that can't always be explained logically, but it can be felt. Interestingly, observant fans have begun to piece together these little pieces. They compare frame after frame, trying to find patterns, trying to discern if there's a hidden message intentionally inserted. And the more they pay attention, the clearer it becomes that this isn't just overinterpretation. There's consistency. There's repetition. There's something intentionally subtle, but powerful enough to be felt. Some might see this as artistic coincidence. Others see it as clever storytelling. But still others feel it's a reflection of something more real, something beyond the screen. Reactions are beginning to emerge. Not everyone sees it the same way. Some were fascinated, some were curious, and, of course, some were disturbed by this interpretation. Why is that? Because when something feels too real, too live, it can trigger a range of emotions. Not everyone is comfortable with things they can't fully control or understand. But that's precisely the power of this music video. It doesn't provide definitive answers. It just hints, just enough to make the viewer think, feel, and question what they're actually seeing. And perhaps that's the true purpose. Not just to entertain, but to create an experience. Something that lingers in the mind even after the video is over. Because ultimately, what makes a work truly memorable isn't how clear its message is, but how deeply it can be felt without explanation. So, when you rewatch the Hooligan music video, pay attention. Not just to what's shown directly, but also to what's hidden in the interstices. Who knows, you might see something you didn't notice before. Something that's been quietly there from the beginning, waiting to be discovered. And when you start to notice that pattern, it feels like uncovering a new layer of a story that previously felt simple. Every small detail that once seemed ordinary now becomes a connected puzzle piece. It's no longer just a scene, Everything feels like a clue. There's one moment where the camera pans slowly, almost as if intentionally allowing the audience to pick up on unspoken emotions. In that brief second, the expressions on display feel so honest, as if they weren't part of an act, but a reflection of something deeper. The more you pay attention, the more you see that the chemistry that emerges isn't something that can be faked. It flows naturally, without any effort. Even in the most energetic scenes, the connection remains stable and consistent. Interestingly, the tension built in this music video stems not only from the music or visual concept, but also from the silent interactions between them. There's a kind of emotional push and pull that's never fully explained, yet always felt present. Some viewers began to sense that there was another story running parallel to the video's main plot. A narrative unwritten, but alive in gestures, gazes, and constantly shifting distances. And this narrative, for some, became the center of attention. This then sparked a wider discussion. Many tried to interpret, analyze, and even develop their own theories about what the music video was trying to convey. Everyone brought a different perspective, and that's what made it all the more compelling. However, not all reactions came in the same vein. As interpretations began to expand beyond initial expectations, voices emerged that questioned, or even rejected, those perspectives. These differing perceptions ultimately became part of the phenomenon itself. Interestingly, this debate only further strengthened the music video's appeal. As more people talked, more and more people came back to watch, searching for answers, or perhaps just to confirm that what they were feeling was true. Ultimately, there may not be one definitive answer that explains everything, but that's precisely the beauty of it. This music video isn't just meant to be watched. It's meant to be felt, interpreted, and understood in different ways by each viewer. And the longer this phenomenon unfolded, the more it became apparent that what was happening wasn't just a passing fad. There was something enduring, something that lingered in the audience's memories even after the initial hype had died down. An impression that was hard to explain, but also hard to forget. Some people began returning to the music with a different perspective, where before they simply enjoyed the visuals and music, now they came with a deeper curiosity. They searched for meaning, searched for connections, and tried to understand emotions that had previously felt vague. Interestingly, with each rewatch, new details emerged. Whether it was a small movement they'd previously missed, or an expression that now seemed more distinct. It's as if this video was designed to never be truly completed in a single viewing. This makes the viewing experience more personal. Each person finds something different, something perhaps unique to them. And from there, a stronger connection arises between the work and its audience. In a world filled with fast, forgettable content, this music video does the opposite. It slows the viewer down, forcing them to pause, pay attention, and truly experience every detail. It's no wonder that many consider this music video's main strength not just its magnificent production, but the emotional layers hidden within it. Layers that not everyone immediately notices, but once discovered, are hard to ignore. And perhaps, without realizing it, that's what makes the two characters so prominent. Not because they appear the most, but because their presence leaves the deepest imprint on the overall story. There's something about the way they interact, or even don't interact directly, that creates a sense of intrigue. A dynamic that feels alive, even if it's never explicitly explained. Ultimately, the Hooligan music video becomes more than just a music video. It transforms into an ever-evolving experience, depending on how each viewer chooses to see and feel it. And perhaps that's where its true power lies, in the things that are never actually said but can always be felt. Over time, discussions about the music video have expanded beyond its visuals or concept. They've begun to explore how people interpret relationships, connections, and how emotions can be conveyed without words. Many are beginning to realize that sometimes the most powerful things are conveyed through the most subtle means. Some viewers even report feeling different emotions each time they rewatch it. Sometimes it feels warm, sometimes melancholy, and still others full of mystery. This shift in feeling makes the viewing experience never truly the same. Some have also begun to notice how the rhythm of the video editing seems to follow the pulse of their interactions. It doesn't just follow the music, but also the energy displayed on screen. This makes each scene transition feel more alive and meaningful. The deeper the analysis, the more it becomes apparent that no detail is purely coincidental. Even something as small as the direction of a gaze or the position of a body in a single frame can carry its own meaning. And it is precisely these small details that strengthen the overall hidden narrative. This phenomenon then evolved into something bigger than just a video. It became the subject of discussion, theories, and even inspiration for many. Some wrote lengthy analyses, others created visual reinterpretations, and still others simply enjoyed it without needing explanation. But behind it all, one thing remains consistent: a sense of curiosity that never truly goes away. There are always questions left, always the possibility of new meanings yet to be discovered. And perhaps that's why this MV feels so alive. Because it places no limits on how it should be understood. It allows everyone to find their own meaning. In many ways, this is the purest form of art. When a work doesn't force the audience to understand it in a certain way, but instead invites them to experience and discover for themselves. Ultimately, what makes the Hooligan music video so memorable isn't just what's seen on screen, but what happens inside the viewer after watching it. An experience that continues to evolve, even long after the video has finished.